Hello, good people. Welcome back to the Kuhb Games YouTube channel. Today, we are playing LaBounty's list from the top 4 of the recent Clash of Champions tournament. Haven't played a warrior list with 2 Jar of Greeds and a small monster count in a long time, but it is one of the ways that I love to play the deck. I've just been trying out, the extra Sasuke and a whole bunch of other stuff. We've been seeing a lot of smashing grounds and stuff pop up in warriors for a little bit, so wanted to try all that out. But whenever I see Jar of Greeds, I like to try out the Jar of Greeds, so this might be a bit of a shorter video, but wanted to get in a game with this. And okay, we start off with a duo Pot of Greed. Can't really complain about this start. And we draw a couple of monsters, which is great. I think I'm actually just not gonna duo here. Yeah, we're just gonna set Dust Tornado, Trap Dust Shoot. Do we want to summon the Blade Knight? I don't really think we need to, right? No, we can just summon the Blade Knight next turn. No reason to let the Blade Knight go when we might not be able to protect it. Obviously, we could have set Ring of Destruction, but I think it's fine to just, set the Dust Tornado and, kind of go from there. Alright, so we are playing a mirror match, it looks like. Our opponent has Book of Moon in the main, but I think this is pretty easy. Just send back Blade Knight. Our opponent has level 2 and Knock in hand, which are not great in the matchup, obviously. And Book of Moon is something I think we can beat here. Let's see how the opponent wants to do this. Summon out a Blade Knight. It's no problem. Hopefully. Yeah, we'll take 16. And say, hopefully they don't just set everything and then we don't get any value out of this Delinquent Duo. Alright, they're just going to set 1. I bet that's probably Book of Moon. Okay. So, I guess this duo doesn't do a whole lot. It could hit Rhoda, though, which is relevant. Oh. Okay, we're just going to draw the rest of Trinity here. But I'm going to throw off this duo. Obviously, there are 2 hits in the hand that aren't great. But let's see if we can hit the Rhoda here. We do not. Yeah, Knock and level 2 are gone. So we know the opponent just has Rhoda. I could just summon Blade Knight. Let's just Graceful Charity. Oh, I guess I should have done duo last, but generally you want to do the duo first before you Graceful. But here I wanted to do it last because I could have drawn something to attack over the Blade Knight, like Rhoda into Sasuke or something like that. But I'm just gonna get rid of Blade Knight, and man, all of these other cards are pretty good. Really like the Judgment here, though I guess I am low on life, and I have this ring that I'm probably going to have to throw off on this Blade Knight. Let's actually just get rid of Judgment. That's kind of weird. Now, let's see. If I set DD Warrior Lady, maybe they go into Exiled Force, since the level 2 is gone, and then that's perfectly fine with me. They use their Rhoda. I get to kill their Blade Knight. MST, even better. Alright, let's take out your Blade Knight. Beautiful. Now let's see, if they go into Exiled Force, that's perfectly fine with me. I don't really care about that. We can start putting on the pressure here. If they have another level 2... Okay, they're going to go for Blade Knight. That's fine. I know I generally say I don't like to set game 1 with Warrior, and that is totally true. Oh, another Rhoda. Do I want to Rhoda up a Blade Knight here? I don't really think so. Our opponent's already used 2. Though I guess DD Warrior Lady's not doing me any good. I don't really want to summon the Tribe. But I do think we want to start attacking as much as possible. Probably... If the opponent rips Heavy Storm, they're dead, right? Yeah, so let's just get Blade Knight then. No, if they rip Heavy Storm, yeah, they're dead. So let's just get Blade Knight. Summon Blade Knight. Set Rhoda. Activate Prima. Get back the other Blade Knight. And we'll chunk in for a hefty 4,000 damage here. And we will pass the turn. Not sure, because the opponent doesn't have a dark in their graveyard. Yeah, I'm not really sure if they have an out here. Especially not with Tribe in hand. And we also have Rhoda for Exiled Force or whatever. Pretty sure we're just going to chalk this one up to sacking the opponent pretty hard. Okay, Rhoda, yeah. Even like main deck Zombra doesn't do it here. Not really sure what other level 4 or lower. Okay, they do have Zombra. That's fine. But yeah, that's not going to do it. Activate Rhoda. Go get Exiled Force. Okay. We could have just summoned... I guess we couldn't summon Tribe. Because we would have had to have blown up our own Blade Knights. Okay. So we've got a hefty sideboard full of stuff. Generally, I don't like to bring in the Mobius. We do have Brain Control here. And I noticed from playing a little bit earlier that we can make quite a bit of moves against warriors here. We could actually like side in all of these, so we can take out the trap dust shoots, mind control, knock, level 2. We're bringing in a bunch of monsters, so I like to cut Kaikus. If we cut all 3 Kaikus, then that leaves us with only 2 darks, 3 darks, 4 darks. We're going up to 4. We can make this huge swap, just kind of leave the Zaborg. I'm not really super big on the Zaborg, but since we are bringing in a mind control, or a brain control, I think it is fine to bring in the Mobius, right? I generally like to bring in Book of Moon, but it is kind of one of the weaker ones. And I am not a fan of Kaiku being left in against Warrior in the mirror here, so we'll call it a day there. I think that's perfectly fine sideboarding. Alright, so we've got a game 2 here. Alright, our opponent has a duo this time. I suppose that's deserved. Alright, we're going to lose the Mirror Force, and I think we're just going to lose the Blade Knight here. I'm not a big fan. Actually, maybe I should have sided out a Blade Knight, to be honest, to bring in the Book of Moon. Not the biggest fan of Blade Knight in the mirror. I guess it does run over, you know. It runs over stuff, and it can crash with other Blade Knights, so it's not, like, useless, but maybe if you've got 2 in the deck, you probably just leave both of them in for light count concerns. Okay, so our opponent pitches a Sakuretsu and a Dust Tornado. Alright. And sets a monster. Sets a couple back row. Alright, they left in Trap Dust Shoot, which I'm not a fan of, but we lose one of our kinetic soldiers. Not a big deal. I'm just going to throw off Graceful here. They're going to Solemn Judgment the Graceful Charity. Okay. So that tells us that the Cypher Soldier is probably not worth a whole lot, right? They have some sort of answer to it. But, okay, they drop out of Greed. Yep, I guess this is deserved after game 1. For sure. Oh, they have... Sure, I guess they didn't want us to find an answer to Moth, but, like, the only answer to Moth we have in the deck is Blade Knight at this point. Well, I guess we have Exile Force, but, like, they don't know that. They did leave in Dust Shoot, so, you know, maybe they left in Nox and stuff as well. I would say I'm happy that's not a spy, but, like, we've gotten, like, double Pot of Greeded here now. So I think we're probably just dead in this game. I guess seeing the Magician of Faith. I guess that's another reason to just leave in all, like, both of the Blade Knights. Potential Magician of Faith coming in. It is just another out to that card. And you are sideboarding out, you know, quite a few answers to that. All right, Sasuke coming in. Yeah, that's going to be able to clean it up. Ugh. I guess the opponent is, they're down to 2,000. So I could have summoned the soldier as well, but like they know my set is. I'm not going to activate Dust Tornado here. They set that into Dust Tornado, so. Alright, I have a Moth of my own. We are in potential, bring our opponent out game. That's not unreasonable here. But maybe I could have summoned the Cypher Soldier, but I guess it does play around. It doesn't play around Breaker or the opponent potentially having Kaiku still in the deck, stuff like that. So I guess setting it doesn't play around Breaker either. So I guess Breaker out of the question. It plays around what, Kaiku almost specifically. I guess it plays again around Crash of other ciphers. So, alright. Flip Moth. I'm just going to get this Graceful Charity back, because that's the only card I can get. Thankfully, we had a power spell to get back with that, or we could just be way behind here. Okay, this is a Dust Tornado. So they're just going to dust it. I guess now they're going to set something relevant. Yeah, okay. Okay. Alright, drew Solemn Judgment. That's not a bad card. Graceful Charity. They're going to Judgment here. Man. I'm not a fan, really, of Judgmenting Graceful Charity and Pot of Greed a lot. Like, especially, it puts my opponent to 1,000. Like, what if I just drew Ring? Now they're just dead to it. Or, even a Blade Knight here. I guess Blade Knight doesn't do a whole lot because it, just still dies to that, but. Okay, well, we're not dead. We're not dead. I don't know. That probably was a fine Graceful Charity to Solemn Judgment, given that I just had one random card in hand. But I don't know. Especially like I don't know. I think I'm not inclined to hit the Graceful Charity there. I think I'm actually more inclined to hit Pot of Greed. I don't know. All right, our opponent does still have Kaiku in the deck, so that is a good reason to set the Cypher. Yeah, I think we're just gonna run it back here. I don't know. It's just more on the Graceful Charity getting Solemn Judgmented spot. Yes, there are absolutely Graceful Charities and Pot of Greed that you should Solemn Judgment. I'm not saying you shouldn't every time. I'm just like, I generally like to hold for, especially in a matchup like this, where Graceful Charity is not really at its best. It's mostly just card selection, and could potentially set up BLS. I'd rather Solemn Judgment the BLS, or the problem card that Graceful Charity hits. But that's just me. Okay, so we've drawn an okay hand here, I guess. We're just kind of gonna try to ride this Spirit Reaper a little bit. We don't really need to set the Sakus. We don't need to run into Heavy Storm here. We're gonna set the MST. Hope the opponent doesn't, lead off on Exiled Force. Yep. No trap dust shoots from me. If they get a level 2, I'm going to be slightly upset here. Because I didn't set the Sakuretsu. Okay, they get Blade Knight. I don't care about Blade Knight. Spirit Reaper stops that. Okay. So Blade Knight set a bunch. Spirit Reaper. Can't stop that effect with Blade Knight. I'm just going to throw off MST here. Hit a Dust Tornado. It's fine. Smash and Ground is interesting. Though I don't think I need to throw off Smash and Ground here. I think I can probably just set Moth, set the 2 Sakuretsus. I guess then maybe they Judgment, but do I really care if they Judgment? Yeah. Let's just set Moth, set the Sakuretsus. I guess we can play around Duo as well and just set Smash and Ground. Okay, one of the Sakuretsus is gone. Do you have another? No. Okay. Well, this is fine then. Really want this Moth to get... I guess Moth could have gotten back Smash and Ground, but I kind of wanted to get back MST here. Now, actually, I guess I could just wait. I could just Sakuretsu this Blade Knight. Thinking. Yeah, it just gets back MST. Which is good, but... yeah, let's just get back the MST. I think it's fine. Ah. Ye ol' Pot of Greed. Kind of wish I had waited on the Moth now, of course, but this is fine. I believe our opponent's, probably just going to throw off a Solemn Judgment on this, the way that they've been playing, but that's okay with me. They're not. Okay. We draw Solemn Judgment, so that's really nice. Obviously, we can't do much here, so let's just set everything. Leave the Prima in hand, continue to play around Delinquent Duo here. Opponent draws a Pot of Greed. I'm going to let that go. It's fine with me. They set another monster. Interesting. Just MST the back row they just set. I'll set Mirror Force. I'm not going to become Spell Trap locked, really, because I can just kind of flip this Smashing around at any point. Okay. Yeah, we can 1-for-1 here. Set Jar of Greed. Our opponent has shown all 3 Dust Tornadoes, but they haven't shown the MST yet, so there's a chance to maybe plus, probably not. Let's be real, but... Alright, one of these days we'll draw into something. That day is not today, apparently. Activate Jar. Graceful, okay. Graceful Charity, can I have this? I can, thank you. Alright, Sasuke, Zambara, and Blade Knight, okay. Blade Knight's not great, so I think I'm going to ditch that. And honestly, probably just ditch Zambara. I have Premature Burial, and I have all kinds of stuff to help out here, so I think Sasuke's a little bit more valuable. And let's just attack one of these face downs. See if Sasuke even lives. It does not. Yeah, that's just going to go. Yep, and we'll just pass the turn. I'm not going to set this other Solemn Judgment because I don't want to get Spell Trap locked now. And of course, I already do have 1 Judgment down, so... Opponent sets a back row. Looks like we're in for a pretty long game 3 here. Opponent has used their Pot of Greed, and we're up a card. Okay. Love to see it. Wouldn't mind drawing into a Delinquent Duo or something here, but would also just like to draw monsters. Ring of Destruction is not a monster. I think we can just Prima the Sasuke here. Or I guess we could get Zambara. No, let's just get Sasuke. Obviously, getting back the Blade Knight doesn't do anything. But I think even if our opponent has a spy, just having the Sasuke out is going to be better. Obviously, we'll take 200 from the first attack, but... Alright, they're really into protecting that one monster. Interesting. I don't really want to set ring, but I guess we've used up a... Well, we could still draw into rotos and stuff. Let's just pass. Okay, Sasuke have their own. Do I want to torrential here? I kind of do, actually. Yeah. I'll take it. It's a +1. Oh, yeah. And we get to fight over a Solemn Judgment here. Beautiful. Oh, yeah, we got Spy and Kinetic there. Awesome. Yeah, we lose our Spirit Reaper. But this is perfectly fine. Ugh, gross. Gross. What a draw. Okay, I'm going to throw that off. Let's get rid of our opponent's hand, which is Zambara and Kaiku. Okay, I'm going to set 2 and pass the turn. Really want to throw off this ring before Solemn Judgment, but I don't know if I really want to do it on Dawn. I can just Sakuretsu the Dawn here. Monster? Nope. But not going to complain about drawing another Sakuretsu armor. Obviously, that card's good. Rota's good. Saku the Blade Knight. Alright, monster. Rota. Yep, that's a monster. Alright, and I should just have lethal here. Yeah, we've got a Blade Knight still. Normal summon Blade. Attack with Blade. Alright. And then, yeah, we're just going to activate Ring of Destruction here. Alright, cool. Oh, I guess that actually doesn't work out because like I can protect this with Solemn Judgment. But if my opponent had an answer to the ring, then we kind of can't flip the Solemn Judgment or it's a draw there. So that was a little risky, but probably I don't know, it's probably fine. If the Blade Knight lived there and actually got that attack in, it was probably just, you know, fine to ring there. I guess the opponent could have had another ring. Something like that, but even, well, I guess ring's not an out because then the opponent dies to that, but the opponent would have ringed on the attack anyway, so little risky. Probably shouldn't have just shotgunned that, but also fine. So probably some areas I could have played a little bit better in this one, but yeah, big fan of the Jar of Greed Warriors. It's certainly a contender for what I'm going to play at the GGP in Chicago, but yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed. We'll be back with the next video.